Hello, friends and family. I hope you are well. I hope you are well today. My name is Janki Matlala. I'm an author and I'm also a reader. This channel is the purpose of the channel. The main purpose of this channel is to make reading fun and fashionable. And then we'll be doing that with different measures, reading, doing book reviews, doing book recommendations, sharing information about reading and writing. I've already posted a lot of few videos in the past concerning reading and writing, and I'll consistently do more of those videos. So today we are on episode 5. We are on episode 5. I'm happy that you are here. Without wasting any time, without wasting any more, or without wasting any time, today we are reviewing a book by Phindile Yende. It's titled "The Signs Are Always There, Yet You Married Him." This is a very interesting book. It's a very interesting book and a very thought-provoking book. I would like to do a book review. I believe you have seen the title there on the thumbnail. Yeah, and then next week that's when I'll be doing. I'll be giving updates on book-related events because yeah, there was a lot happening today. And also I need to align things properly, the content, so that everything is in order. So my apologies for that. Next week I'll definitely share with you everything. I don't have a laptop anymore, it's broken, so it makes my work very difficult because I need to write things down and they take time. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Let's get into this book. Firstly, I would like to share this thing is making noise. Firstly, I would like to share, just to give you a description about the author, who the author is, according to what's in this book, because of when I do book reviews, I'll give you an introduction of the author, the description, what the book talks about, and lastly, it's the lessons that I've learned in this book. Those are the things that I'll be more focused on. But you're welcome to comment, send me an email, comment down there to suggest whatever that you'd like to suggest, and comment and tell me what are your thoughts. The aim is for us to grow. So when I saw this book, the title on its own, I'm like, what? I was a bit shocked. I'm like, oh, this book. And I've read it for the second time now. So let's go to the author, about the author. Phindile Yende is a businesswoman within the healthcare industry. She boldly stands as an advocate for women empowerment, while driven by her passion for both women and youth advancement. Amidst the numerous hats she proudly wears, she is also a Mandela Washington Fellow, a flagship initiative established by the former US President Barack Obama for young African leaders. She is currently serving as the Deputy President of the African Women's Movement, an organization aimed at propelling young emerging female leaders to occupy key leadership roles of authority. Wow, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. She does a lot. So in short, that's Phindile Yende, and the author of this book that I'm reviewing today. The author of the book that I'm reviewing today. I have my notes here. They keep me in time. They help me not to overlap a lot. Because of sometimes I can talk and be out of topic. Sometimes it's necessary, but sometimes it's not. It just depends on the atmosphere. So, but there's few disclaimers that I would love to do about this book, because the title on its own, a person who's not, it's easy for a person to judge it. So they say don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, so it's easy for a person to judge this book by just looking at the title and everything, because you ask yourself a lot of questions by just asking this. Because I repeat the title, the signs are always there, yet you married him. That alone can raise a lot of concerns to many people. But the disclaimer that I want to do, since well I've read the book and everything, I understand. The disclaimer comes from that. The disclaimer I've never met Phindile Yende. Yeah, I've seen her several times in TV. I've also heard her on radio, but I've never really met her. So we don't have any form of relationship, friendship, or what. But we are just human beings. So there's nothing that she told me, right? So now, the disclaimer that I would like to do is that I would like to tell you is that if you read this book without a sense of emotional intelligence, or you do not apply emotional intelligence, instead of you being enlightened, you will be bitter. You will definitely be bitter because it's actually generally it's not everyone who's willing to to be part of uncomfortable conversations, and we become casualties of that because of uncomfortable conversations. They force transformation in us, but we avoid that a lot, especially us in South Africa. We are too emotional about a lot of things. On social media, before we analyze and ask questions, we firstly attack in most of the time. Though it's not all of them, there's a remnant who are not doing that. So uncomfortable conversations, they build us from the root, because of they deal with root matters. So that's the first disclaimer that I'd like to do, to say that this book, if you read it without applying emotional intelligence, after you finish reading this book, you'll be the most bitter person if that's the case. But if you read it with maturity, then if you read it with grace, with understanding, then it will benefit you very, very. Yeah, it's a book that, why as a man do I read such a book? We'll find out. We'll find out as we go further. Yeah. But anyway, and the second thing is that your reaction to certain things really exposes you to people on the type of a person that you are, because some reaction, they really tell you what stems from the heart, and also they say a lot about the behavior of another person, because of there are situations where you can be able to withhold yourself and be like, no, let me just be quiet about this. And then there are some situations where you just find yourself bursting out of nowhere. But it differs from circumstances to circumstance. So, but anyway, let's not go there. But thirdly or secondly, let me say this book is not a book to despise men. I'm speaking so as a male. This book is not a book to despise the male, because the title, I repeat, says the signs are always there, yet you married him. Him. It's not a book to despise him. Nope. But it is the responsibility of a human being to look out for themselves and also look out for others if they are able to. Because of other people, even if we try by all means, but we are not able to help them because of we do not have the necessary resources, or we do, like finances, or the capacity in us to help them, right? So it will be wrong for a person to experience something, and when they want those who are about to experience the same mistake, and then others, they attack them for winning them. That's really inhuman. That's really inhuman. So I don't know much about the life of Phindile Yende, but this book, it just gives warnings It creates certain conversations so that you may be aware. Because of my experience might not be your experience. You might be abused by men or by women, and myself, I might not be abused by men or women. But if you coming from abuse, you warn me about certain things that I should look out for in a different type or in different types of human beings, then you have a right to warn me. And then other people, they don't have a right to attack you for warning me. Right? But approach, I think it also plays a very significant role. Right? So let me just go into let me just go into the so let me let me go into the contents of this book, but I'll not explain everything. The aim is to just give you a review on what the book is about and the lessons that I've learned. Because if I were to go in each and every chapter of this book, I will not finish it. It has over what? I think over 20 chapters, this book, right? And the language, it's understandable. It's easy to understand. It's easy to read. Yeah, not knowing how it will land on your emotions and your heart. But let me just give at least 2 or 3 contents of the book and some of the things that I just picked that I can share with you, because as I said, I cannot be going in each and every chapter. Otherwise, we'll be doing a 5-hour video here. So the book here, Phindile Yende, there's a chapter that he talks about men who are pathological. Okay, let me just, she talks about pathological, it's here, let me just check it out. She talks about pathological lying narcissist. Yeah, pathological lying narcissist. And then she gives different definitions on that we, at some point in our lives, we have lied, we have not spoken the truth, right? But then this chapter, Phindile talks about men who are pathological liars in such a way that it's a lie that is out of a habit. So Phindile says this type of a person, lying for them, it's normal. It's just part of their life. So it's a type of a human being who lies, and then their conscience does not tell them anything wrong. Like, they've grown so much in lying that it's their way of living, right? And she talks that this type of people, this type of men, their arrogance, it's on steroids. Like, the arrogance, it's on steroids. And she's pointing out to ladies that even if you have seen these signs that this man is a liar, a pathological lying narcissist, but yet you continued and went ahead and married him. So each and every chapter would give reference to the title, The signs were there, the signs are always there. You have seen him, that he's a pathological narcissist, liar, but yet you continued. So those are part of the contents that Phindile, she's talking about. There's a lot of signs there throughout the book, as I mentioned, but then I've just chosen a few. So I've known, even myself as a man, I've seen a lot of this kind. I've seen a lot of this kind of men. My father was one of them. And I'm not trying to badmouth him or what, but he was this kind of a person. He was a pathological lying narcissist. And one thing I hate about lying is that at times you forget. If you told people that you are staying in a multi-millionaire house, a house that belongs to your aunt, so next week or next month, you need to maintain that lie. If they want to visit you, you need to still try to convince your aunt so that she can go anywhere, so that you can get into that house, invite them, you convince them that it's yours. So lying, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. But those who excel in it, they do well. They do well in it, apparently. So I believe Phindile is raising a point here in a way of giving a warning, that even you ladies, there are some of men that you saw. Good to know. This one, he's a liar. You knew from the beginning. But yet, you continued and married him. It's Phindile, it's not me who said that. Right? So, secondly, Phindile talks about in another chapter that men who are... I just hope you receive this video right. Oh, by the way, this weekend it's Father's Day. Pardon me, I'll just share. I was not aware. Let me just share. Secondly, she talks about men who are this type of man. He's a dreamer, but not a doer. Let me just try to read how she has put it. So Phindile says, this group is those men who are very ambitious. No, actually, I just gave a summary. This is not what Phindile said here. I just gave a summary on that group as I was going through the chapters. This group is the men who are very ambitious and they have the right attitude about life, and then they're self-motivated. But many years down the line, they have not applied anything. So Phindile talks about how frustrating it is as a woman that you'd have such kind of a man. They're ambitious, they are dreamers, but then when you check 5, 15 years, 10, 20 years, they have not even applied in whatever that they've been dreaming about or doing. They don't even do the efforts in order to put it into practice. So according to Phindile, she says that it's draining, frustrating to have a man like that. But Phindile continues and said, you saw the type of a man that he is, but yet you continued and married him. So, my question to such type of men is that where do they get the comfort to be dreamers and then not apply anything? It's clear that the comfort comes from anywhere, because of a lot of us, we have a sense of agency in doing certain things because of our situation and being driven by a lot of stuff. But a person who's just talking, and then they don't apply measures to fulfill whatever that they're applying, it can be a lot of things. Can be lack of support, lack of finances, lack of resources, and all that. But now I'm talking about their part. Where do they get the comfort of not applying? So probably they don't have a sense of agency about life. They are not scared of age, whether they are growing. They are not scared whether they will not be able to provide certain needs to themselves and to their kids, or they don't have that sense of agency. Like, they are not worried. So I'm wondering, where do they get such a comfort? Like, they are so relaxed. Really? Where do they get by Tolapi the comfort? Right? So Phindile speaks about how frustrating it is to have such a man. So I mean, I'm like, I was not aware of that, but starting to think, um, it makes sense generally. It makes sense generally that even if you want to help a person, but a person that does not even wants to help themselves, there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do as a human. You can give them money, they spend it on whatever that they spend it. You give them resources, they spoil them. You give them cars, they spoil them. Like, they're not ambitious. They end up draining you as an individual. So, I agree with Phindile here. Generally, every human being, I've seen parents who have disowned their children because of, according to those parents, they say they have tried everything, but the child still refuses. So at some point in life, as a human being, you need to tell yourself that I'm tired of this and I want to change. Even if you have not changed, I'm telling you, the government will tell you, your family will tell you, your friends will tell you, everyone will tell you, but if you have not told yourself, then it's useless. It's useless, right? But one of the last points concerning the contents that I want to share about the book is that, this one. So, but this book helps me a lot too. Helps me a lot. So, number 3, Phindile talks about a serial cheater. A serial cheater. Hey, I've seen people who cheat. I know of people who cheat, but a serial cheater. So, but when she broke it down, that's when I understood. So, here's what she says. Serial cheater, it's a chapter on its own in the book. Serial cheater, there are 2 types of serial cheaters. I was like, what? Is it that deep? So, 2 types of serial cheaters. Number 1, it's those who have many women in different places. Yeah, so basically, it's men who have different women in different places, and they are consistent in maintaining relationships with those women. Would have a woman in that section, would have a woman in this section, would have a woman in town, would have a woman, you'd have a girlfriend at work. Like, you have girlfriends everywhere, and then you keep communicating with them. Number 1. Number 2, the one who sleeps with a woman and moves to the next. Like, they're not committed to, they're committed to you as a woman, but outside, they don't commit themselves in relationship with women. They get this one, sleep with them, go to another. Get this one, sleep with them, go to them. So she mentions these 2 types of serial cheaters. And she mentions further that these 2 are both addicts, and they are about their own pleasure. So meaning they don't care about what the other person feels or thinks. And honestly, at some point as men, we have really failed women. We've really failed women. But let me just go into the lessons that I've learned going through this book. So basically, this book, it's more of it's both warning and also creates conversations, because of even all the things that I've listed here. I've talked about pathological layers, the dreamer, and also the serial cheater. We can argue a lot about these things that are in the book. There's a lot of discussions that we can do because we hold different views. Others, they'll tell you that, no, I don't care whether he cheats or what, as long as he sleeps in the house. Yeah. Others, they'll be saying, no, all the women have been there and they're still there, but me, now I'm not going anywhere. Okay. And so others, they don't have a problem. Others, they have a problem. Others, they don't have a place to go. So it just differs, right? But without making this video long, I would like to say my lessons, I learned that firstly, I learned to examine myself as a male so that I might not be a red flag in the life of any woman that I encounter in general, especially the one that I might be involved in a romantic relationship with. I don't know. You see, because it takes humility to learn. It takes humility to learn. Um, Sometimes men ego it's unnecessary. Yeah, honestly, it's unnecessary. You can say things to me, I don't care, but your ego sometimes it's unnecessary. So I learned to examine myself. You see, because this book says the signs were there, but yet you married him. So I don't want to be part of the sign. So it has helped me as a man to examine myself so that I may not be part of the sign that a woman had to bear with. Right? It takes humility to learn. And one of the best ways to identify a man is a man who's able to acknowledge, in fact, a human being. Let me not just limit it to a man because of, hey, abanye, they have too many identities. They'll come after me because they get the identity in different things. So, but accountability is one of the most fundamental or I don't know if I should call it a personality or whatever deed that a human being can ever have. So it's useless to impose things and force things on a woman just because of you are a man. Whether they're hitting their feelings, you are cheating, you are causing frustrations and traumas in their lives, but then you are saying you're a man. It's useless to do such a thing. But this book has helped me to examine myself, and then that does not mean maybe I've been abusive or no, I've not. But knowledge is always necessary. It's either it helps you now currently, or it will help you in the future, or it helps you to rectify your mistakes. Right? So that's the lesson. And I've examined myself a lot through every chapter of this book. Very thoroughly. I did that. That's the first lesson. Yeah, I think it also answers the question why me as a male I read this book. I read this book, and you know this bro code thing. It's nonsense. It's nonsense sometimes. You cheat on your woman, and then I should keep quiet. And then if I talk, then ngidlisi team. Awahamba ni team yenu. You're wrong. Anyway, it's fine. What was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot. But anyway, it will come back. But okay, yeah. Secondly, this book made me to start. Okay, let me put this here. It made me to start having conversations with myself. Also, I feel this book it's more about creating conversations. More like this book, it's a warning, firstly, and secondly, conversations. But I feel like it's more on provoking conversations. Yeah, because there are some conversations we need to start having them in order to do introspection. And I believe I've said a bit as I was talking here the past few minutes that maybe those are the books here. Some of the things that are written here is the conversation we should start having. What makes you to stay even if you saw the signs? What makes you to ignore the signs? Are you a red flag to your women? Are you abusing your power? So, this is not a book that you would agree with Phindile in everything. Situations differ from person to person. So one thing I love about books is that they make conversations. And it also leads me to the purpose of this channel that I've created, because of books should also be used as a way to create conversations, right? So, yes. Number 3, the lesson I got from this book is that there is more to learn from the victim. Abusers are afraid of those who stands up for themselves. Yeah, I learned that. But yeah, there's a lot to learn from the victim. We are born at this person, it's abusing you, but you are staying. So it questions your identity, where you come from, and your view of things. Because most of the time we attack the abuser, of which we need to correct them also, that why you can't beat up this person. But then for the person to go back, then it raises awareness. It raises awareness. Maybe they are happy. Because trust me, I always see cases of women that are being murdered on TV. There are men who are attending court cases on TV who were murdered by women. There are those in communities, we want them. Stay away from that man. Yena lo muntu wakhona always uhamba ngama-blue eye, ushayela. Abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, assault, all these abuses. But uyahlala, uyahlala. So it opened me, it opened my eyes so that I may be aware. What's going on with this victim? What makes them to really persevere? Because it's as if they've created some sense of identity. Yeah, I saw a video of another woman saying, you know, Mina, if I feel unloved when my man does not beat me up. So do you want us to beat you so that you feel loved? I would rather be single. So yeah, this book has opened me up to be aware. I'm like, okay, we are complaining about gender-based abusers. They are wrong to do what they do. But secondly, those that are tolerating it, why? Are they being threatened and all that? It opened me up to such a conversation. And then lastly, I feel like it's a point number 4. It's the last lesson that I've learned. Phindile believes in women empowerment, as I've said in part of the introduction, explaining to you the type who is Phindile. She believes in women empowerment, but a smart man can still learn from this book. A smart man can still learn from this book. A smart man can also benefit from this book. I'm not saying I'm smart, but I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. But my saying is that I realize that even a smart man can avoid a lot of things by reading this book. Yeah, because of it's just a matter of awareness. It's a matter of education. Like, men, you just need to see things beyond your ego. Learn to see things beyond your ego. We should not be limited. And so, anyway, let me just conclude here. I hope me giving this short review, you are able to see the contents of the book, what the book talks about. And I do believe that from here, then we will get the book. And also, who have gained some life lessons concerning the things that I've shared in the book and also the lessons that I've learned. But as for me, the book has made me to be a better person. Not to say I was the worst, but then there's always a layer of ourselves that we need to that needs to be developed. We are human beings, we make mistakes, and then let us grow. Let us grow. Having uncomfortable conversations is the starting point of growth. And I've said it that what I love about uncomfortable conversations is that you deal with the root of the problem. You deal with the root of the problem. And because ignoring uncomfortable conversations, we remain casualties of that. You saw the signs. You saw the signs. And the next thing, you're complaining again. You're being abused. You'll, ignoring the signs, you will persevere and tolerate things that are intolerable. Right. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Where to get the book? You can get the book in Amazon, Exclusive Books, and Take a Lot. So far, these are the 3 places that I saw the book. And also I saw it in a library, Tshwane Library Service. Tshwane Library Service, it's under Tshwane Municipal Library. It's a municipal based in Gauteng, South Africa. So those that are within Gauteng and Tshwane Municipal, then they can get the books in the library. I don't know which library, but definitely it's there on the system. So thank you, everyone. I believe that we have learned the lessons, and please kindly subscribe and comment on the description. What am I saying? You see English, but anyway, it will grow. Please comment. Send me emails. I'm more than welcome to hear you out. I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And yeah, thank you very much and have an exciting day. Bye.